What's up, guys? I am so sorry for the delay. I promise, though, I've not been slacking off. I have been working so hard on designing this new course that I'm working on where I'm going to combine the JLPT in 5 alongside book 2 of Japanese from Zero. I kind of want to mix and match them because the Japanese from Zero books, they're fantastic. They really are. They will help you achieve fluency on your own time, but they don't follow the JLPT. And if you are wanting to work in Japan, you do need to pass the JLPT. So I wanted to kind of combine the two in my own way. And I went back and forth on how I was going to do that. I decided to kind of keep them separate, but also do them together. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to alternate between the JLPT course and the book 2 course. So today we're going to do the first lesson of the JLPT in 5, and then next time we will do the first lesson in book 2. Basically, in the JLPT course, we're going to go over all of the kanji and all of the vocabulary words that you're going to need to pass the test. And whatever we learned in the JLPT lesson, we're going to try to utilize that as much as we can in the regular lesson. This way, you're getting spaced repetition for all of your vocabulary words, you're seeing them continuously, and you're more likely to remember them that way. So today's lesson will be pretty short because it's the very first one and we don't have anything to review. And also the kanji that we're going to do in this one are very, very simple. Before we get started though, we really should talk about what the JLPT even is. If you don't know, it is the Japanese Language Proficiency Test. And each of them, they're called levels. You got the level 5, N5, N4, N3. We refer to them as levels, but it's kind of backwards from what you would think of as levels. In English, when we think of a level, usually you start with level 1, and like the higher the level, the harder it is, right? When you're playing a video game or really with anything, when you level up, right, you go up a level. That's how we usually refer to it. But with the JLPT, it's kind of backwards. It's more like a ranking. They call them levels, but it's really a rank. So it's like winning a race, whereas being number 1 in a race is the best thing. So the N5 is the basic test. It's the lowest level, and the N1 is the highest level. Now, let me make this very clear. Not everybody needs the JLPT. The only reason why you would need to take the JLPT is if you want to work for a Japanese company or you want to move to Japan. A lot of translator jobs, like if you live in the US and you want to work as a Japanese translator, a lot of them will require you take the JLPT as sort of evidence that you're able to speak it. If you can prove it in other ways, like if you can prove that you're fluent, you may not need the JLPT if you live in the US. If you can just prove to them that you're able to speak it fluently, that might be enough, but the JLPT will help you. It will look really good on your resume, basically. But if you want to move to Japan and work for a job in Japan, they almost always require at least the N2 in order to hire you. They won't even consider, like once they see that you're a foreigner, unless you have passed the JLPT N2, they probably won't hire you. The exception to that is if you're an English teacher. That is the one exception. If you're going to teach English in Japan, you don't need the JLPT. If you want to do any other job at all, you need the JLPT. If that is not your goal, you don't need the JLPT. It's not necessary. It's not the end-all be-all. It can be kind of a good motivator, makes you, feel good about your progress. It can also be a good map, a good learning map, a roadmap to fluency, but it's not the only roadmap, and it's not even the best one. There are other options. It really doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there, right? So the JLPT can possibly be a good tool to help you gauge your progress, but it's not something that you should stress about unless you want to work in Japan. Now that we've talked about what it is and what it isn't, let's talk about each of these levels. We are going to start with the lowest level, that is the N5. You will need to know about 100 kanji and about 800 vocabulary words. The reason why this is an approximation is because it changes every time. Like every time that they take a test, the contents of that test changes because they don't want people cheating and things like that. They don't want them to just memorize the answers. They want to actually test them. So chances are you won't need to know all 100. You might only need to know 80 for the test that you take. But we don't know which 80. We have no idea. We don't know which 80 it could be. So we kind of compile all of the possible ones that might be on the test. You have already learned quite a bit of vocabulary for the N5 as well as some from the N4. They were included in book 1 of Japanese from Zero. If this is the very first video that you are watching, don't worry. I am going to review all of the ones, even if we have already covered them, so you don't have to go back and watch all of course 1. If you don't want to, you can use this as sort of a crash course to help you study for your test. But to pass the N4, you will need 300 kanji and 1500 vocab. Now, before you get scared, this includes all of the kanji from N5. It's not 300 brand new kanji. It's the 100 kanji from N5 plus 200 more. For the N3, you're going to need 650 kanji and 3,750 vocabulary words. But again, this is going to subtract everything from the N4. So it's not 650 new kanji, it's 350 new kanji, which is a lot. It is. But it gets easier. The more kanji you learn, the easier it gets. You'll start to notice patterns and things. I promise it's not as scary as it seems. For most jobs that you can get in Japan, you're going to need the N2. That's going to be 1,000 kanji and 6,000 vocab. Then we have the N1. This is considered proficient. The JLPT N1 includes a lot of very complex words. It has a lot of business lingo. You want to work at a business. You want to be a CEO of a company. You want to work as a manager at a company in Japan. You're going to need the JLPT N1. Anything that's professional like that, you're going to need the N1. You need to be able to understand nuances in conversation so that you don't mess up a business deal. So you're going to need the N1. I know it seems like a lot, but stick around. We will go through all of it. We will get there. So if that's your goal, if your goal is to pass the N1, we're going to do it together. We're going to get to that point. Now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's look at your very first kanji. I switched my camera and removed my face because you could not see the kanji card in the background. I was blocking some of the words. So this is a set of flashcards that I'm working on. Once they are completely done and we have gone through all of them, I will make them available as a PDF so that you can download them and print them off if you want to review at home. Each of the levels will have a different color and a different fruit that they will be themed off of. So the N5 is watermelons. Going from left to right, we have the kanji symbol that you need to study. Any radicals used, and we'll talk about radicals in just a second. All of the different readings for that kanji with the onyomi on top and the kunyomi on the bottom. They are all written in hiragana because it is very difficult to write in katakana on my keyboard. If that bothers any of you, please let me know. Technically speaking, the onyomi should be written in katakana because that is the Chinese reading of the word. But for the sake of studying, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. If it does bother you, please let me know and I will go through and try to fix it. It's just a little bit tedious. So I figured that it would be fine. But if it's not fine, if you don't like it, just let me know. I'll fix it. Then in this column, we will have the meanings of that kanji. Then over here in this column, we have words. I try to include as many of the readings as possible. I also try to include words that are JLPT vocabulary words. Really quickly, before we move on to the next 5, let's take a moment and talk about radicals. So radicals are basically little pieces of the kanji that have different meanings, and we can kind of use them to form a picture in our mind to help us remember the character. So, for example, the number 4 here has the radical for mouth. That's on the outside here, and inside of the mouth is a pair of legs. And these are human legs. You might be familiar with the book Remembering the Kanji. Some of the radicals that I use come from that book. For example, here in the number 4, I use the term human legs. This comes from the book Remembering the Kanji because I feel like it is more helpful with creating a story. But most of the radicals that I mention are universal. You'll find them on any kanji dictionary. For example, this little box being a mouth, that's a universal radical. You'll see that everywhere. Here's another example on your next 5 kanji. For the number 6, we have a kettle lid, and that is a universal radical. While these down here, the animal legs, that comes from remembering the kanji. So we have human legs and animal legs. It does help when you have very similar kanji, and the only difference between them is that one uses human legs and one uses animal legs. This is very useful for distinguishing between them. So if you haven't taken a look at remembering the kanji, give it a shot. It's not a bad way to study. However, it doesn't teach you any readings. It doesn't teach you any words. It just teaches you the radicals and how you can use them to create stories that will help you remember the characters. It's not a bad book though if you want to give it a shot. So here are your next 5 kanji. They are the number 6 through 10. Take a picture of it if you need to, and we will review these characters next time. I'm back again. Did you miss me? Now we have a whole bunch of N5 vocabulary words. These are all family words. I did include the kanji because you will need to know the kanji eventually. A lot of them are in 5 kanji, so we'll get to them later. Some of them are in other levels of the JLPT, but you will need to know all of them eventually, so you may as well learn them now. Makes things a lot easier. But since they are not technically part of the kanji that you learned today, I will continue to include the furigana anytime that they appear up until the point that their kanji appears. Once their kanji is taught, I will no longer include the furigana for those words. There are a bunch of different ways that you can say mom, dad, brother, sister, but there are specific versions that you will need to know for the JLPT. So for mom, there are 2 different words that you need to know. The first one is haha, and the second one is o ka a san. O ka a san. That lengthening of the A there, that double vowel, is important. We'll get to that in a little bit, but o ka a san, o ka a san, o ka a san. Always remember to lengthen that vowel. And you'll notice that the kanji used is the same in both words. Haha is humble. Basically, if I'm talking to a stranger about my mom, I'm going to use haha, right? I want to be humble. I don't want to be arrogant and rude. But if I'm talking to a stranger about their mom, I'm going to give it more respect. So I'm going to use the word oka-san instead. Same thing with dad. We have the humble one is on the left, and the respectful one is on the right. So here it's chichi. Chichi is humble. And then otou-san. Otou-san, that is respectful. Once again, it uses the exact same kanji. Japanese has different names for the younger siblings and the older siblings. The older siblings also have a humble form and a respectful form. The humble form of older brother is ani, ani. Then the respectful form of older brother is o-ni-san, o-ni-san. So ani, ani is humble, o-ni-san is respectful. Once again, the lengthening of that is important. If you don't lengthen it and you say oni-san, that is an ogre. You don't want to call someone's older brother an ogre. You want to call them an older brother. Oni-san, oni-san. Same thing with the girl. Instead of ni, it's ne, which is a little bit more cute sounding. That can kind of help you remember the difference between them. So ane, ane is going to be your older sister. And then おねえさんis your respectful version of that. Then you have your younger brother. We just have one word for that. The younger brother is おとうと. Then the younger sister, いもうと. You can take a picture of this if you want to. We're going to do a drill with them here in just a minute, but I have a couple more words I want to teach you first. Here is a perfect example of why it's very important to lengthen the vowel if you need to lengthen the vowel. A grandfather is an おじいさん. An uncle is an おじさん. It doesn't have that lengthened vowel. You can also use this to mean like sir, and you can use aunt to mean like ma'am. The same thing is true with the older siblings. You can use that to mean young man or young lady. But you don't want to call a man an uncle. You don't want to call him an old man, an おじいさん, right? He might be offended if you call him an おじいさん. Same thing for aunt and grandma. おばさん is an aunt and おばあさん is a grandma. Now, I do want to call attention to the kanji really quick. These are not kanji you need to know right now, but sometimes it helps to know. So if you look at this kanji in grandfather and also in grandma, this first kanji here, it means ancestor. And this you might recognize is father. So ancestor father, that's a grandpa. Ancestor mother is grandma. The one for aunts and uncles is a little bit strange because this means like a chief or a count or an earl or something. So count father, count mother, I don't know. But that might help you remember which one is which. Now, let's see if you can remember. That was a lot of words. It's 14 words. It was a bunch. But I think you can do it. Let's try. Okay. We have this cute little dinosaur here, and we're going to feed him some stuff. Let's give him a hamburger, I guess. Okay. All right. Which one is an older brother? The humble kind. We want older brother, and it's humble. Which one is it? Is it おにいさん? おねえさん, 姉 or 兄? Pause if you need to. It's 兄. Okay, How about a cookie? Okay, this time we have mother, but we want the respectful version. What's the respectful version of mother? Is it おばさん, お母さん, お父さん, or お母さん? It's the long one. お母さん. Let's give him a sock. Sock in Japanese is 靴下. 靴下 meaning literally shoes under. Your undershoes, your socks. 靴下. Okay, how about the humble version of father? Humble. Is it 兄, 姉, 父, or 母? Which one is father? Is it 母? No, it's 父. Okay, how about some ice cream? Grandmother. Is it お母さん, おばあさん, おばさん, or おじいさん? It is おばあさん. Okay, let's do a donut. How about uncle? What do you think? Which one? Try to read them if you can. You know all the hiragana now. Try to read them. Which one is it? Did you say oじいさん? Because that's grandfather. We want oじさん. Tried to trick you. Did it work? Let's do a blueberry. How about younger brother? Is it 妹? 兄? 弟? Or 姉? 妹? 弟? Which one? It's 弟. We're almost done. 4 more. Our dinosaur is getting pretty big. Jelly beans. How do you say aunt in Japanese? Pause if you need to. What do you think? It's おばさん. How about a pretzel? He's up here all by himself. Okay, younger sister this time. How do you say younger sister in Japanese? It's gonna be, what do you think? 妹. Almost there. How about a pair? How about the respectful version of older brother? This one's tricky. Is it おねえさん? おにいさん? 兄 or 姉? Which one? Which one do you think sounds cute? The cute one's the girls. So which one? Which one is brother? Which one's not a girl? Which one isn't cute? It's cool, maybe. It's おにいさん. おにいさん. One more. Look how big our dinosaur is. Here you go, Bronte. How about the older sister this time? Given the last question, this one should be easy. Older brother was おにいさん. So what's older sister? It's おねえさん. All right, we made Bronte so happy. Good job, guys. That was a little bit loud. I don't know if you could hear it. All right, and we are all done. Look at my cute little watermelon. Like I said, the N5 is all watermelons. I believe the N4 is oranges. N3 was lemons. N2, what did I do for N2? I think it was blueberries. I don't remember. I think it was blueberries. And then N5 was plums, I think. You know what? I don't remember. Now I want to go look because I don't remember. I have to look now. I don't know if you guys can. Okay. Yeah, N5 is watermelon. N4 is oranges. Oh, N3 is kiwi. I was wrong. N3 is kiwi. N2 is blueberry. And N1 is plum. I was right about that one. There's no yellow. I skipped yellow. I think I skipped yellow because it's hard to read words that are written in yellow. Yellow is not an easy color to read. So I skipped it and went to green instead. So it makes a rainbow. It's a fruit rainbow. It's lovely. Anyway, we're going to stop it here. I will try to get the first lesson of book 2 up as soon as I can, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!